What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers, particularly Rob Pelinka, is very active on the trade front. Keep getting reports that the Lakers are targeting perimeter help as well as a interior presence, that they want a center and then a guard as well as a wing. But it's easier said than done, right? Lakers are incredibly limited in assets. Luckily, the prices for guys are already beginning to drop. Saw Dennis Schroeder, they wanted a first. He ended up going for multiple seconds. We've already heard Kyle Kuzma's asking price has gone down, that Jeremy Grant's asking price has gone down. Several others very well probably will go down, especially once we move closer to the trade deadline. Usually, about a week or so before the trade deadline, teams start going, all right, fine. We'll take this for that guy, right? And then whatever they ultimately settle for. So hopefully the Lakers can get something done. Issue I see is kind of the guard market, right? And we'll touch on that here in a moment. But like the wing depth is probably the easiest to address. It just comes down to cost, because you have like Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Kyle Kuzma, Jeremy Grant, even like lesser options like Cody Martin, right? Like there is not an abundance, but there's more 3-and-D wings that are on the market that are available that the Lakers really need, right? A lot more two-way guys than there have been in like previous seasons. So I do think that the Lakers, the likelihood of landing at least one is likely. I would love to have two. Obviously, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith would be ideal, but even if it's like a Dorian Finney-Smith and like a Cody Martin, or a Dorian Finney-Smith and a Kyle Kuzma, or Cody Martin and Kyle Kuzma, right? Like, if they could pull something off to where they could get, 2 3-and-D wings, two guys that can kind of come in and play a role, that would be ideal. And I do think it's just the most likely scenario. Then beyond kind of the wing depth, right? Like, okay, you'd still need a center. You still need, ideally, a point of attack guard. Now, as far as the center spot goes, you could stick with, kind of what the Nets got going on with Day'Ron Sharpe. Perfect world of Nick Claxton, but I just don't think the Lakers have enough assets for that. But say a Day'Ron Sharpe, then if you could go get, if not him, Nick Richards. Problem with Nick Richards is we don't even know if he's really available. Teams have inquired about him, and the Hornets have at least listened, but we haven't really seen them actively trying to push to move Nick Richards. Now Mark Williams is returning, so that's good for them. So maybe they'd be more interested in trading a Nick Richards. We'll see. Time will tell. But speaking like with the center market, I still think Valanciunas is probably the most likely player that the Lakers end up with. I still think he's just, as far as assets goes, price-wise, right? Could you maybe get a Kyle Kuzma in that deal also? Get like a Valanciunas, Kyle Kuzma, and then go get, like I mentioned, a Cody Martin, or get a Dorian Finney-Smith, something like that. Like that could be great. That put the Lakers in a great position, some great shape, right? Get, like I said, 2 3-and-D wings, and then get that center. Valanciunas isn't like my favorite option at the center spot. I just think it's the most realistic and most likely. Again, Nick Richards, Day'Ron Sharpe, Walker Kessler would be a dream scenario. But outside of that, it really is like Valanciunas. Like, yeah, you got a Nikola Vucevic, or, you have a Clint Capella. You have some of these other centers, Brook Lopez. But my problem with those guys is the salary in which that they make, right? Like, for example, for the price of Nikola Vucevic, you can almost get Valanciunas and Dorian Finney-Smith. You just need to add like an extra like $2 million, right? Like that's the difference, right? Like, so I think if you go and get and make the push for a guy in Valanciunas, one, Lakers need a backup center. They don't need starting center. As long as LeBron James and Anthony Davis are on this team, as much as Anthony Davis wants to play the 4, LeBron has to play the 5 at this stage. Could you play him in spot minutes at the 3? Sure. But you can't primarily play him at the 3. So Lakers just need somebody serviceable that can come in, slot in at the backup 5, and then, play sparing minutes at the 5 alongside AD, and kind of have different mix matchups and different looks. If you get the right pieces, you might even be able to knock LeBron's minutes down. So maybe you could go more with like 2 bigs on any given night. So to me, it's just Valanciunas is the most reasonable and cheapest route, asset return wise, as well as salary wise, outside of like, again, of course, Walker Kessler, but he has supposedly been taken off the market. Nick Richards would be cheaper, but we don't even know if he's available. And then Day'Ron Sharpe, what is the cost for him? So I still do look at Valanciunas as the most likely route, but then, like I mentioned, the guard route, that's where the problem lies, right? Like Dennis Schroeder would have been great, but he went to the Warriors. I don't think losing Dennis Schroeder is like the end of the world. Oh no, now Lakers are in trouble. But like, what are the other options for what the Lakers need at the guard position, right? Now, obviously, like an all-star level guard, but I'm talking about like role guys that are realistic, right? Like Bruce Brown, but he's making what, $23 million this year, and two, he hasn't played all year. So is he a guy that's worth exploring? Chances are the Lakers are probably going to have to look into free agency for that. So my guess is the Lakers maybe do something where they get, let's just keep it simple. Let's just say the Nets trade, right? Let's say best case scenario, they get Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Day'Ron Sharpe. Okay, perfect, right? Well, you're still going to need a guard, most likely at least a backup guard. Markelle Fultz has been linked to the Lakers. The Lakers apparently are interested in maybe bringing him in if they free up a roster spot. You go with Quincy Olivari. I don't hate the idea of him, but I would prefer ideally a more proven guy. Problem is, Lakers just haven't really played him in the actual NBA enough to know like if he's ready or not. But like a Markelle Fultz, we know he can come in, fill that role. Not my favorite option again, but you're limited. Low risk, high reward, or maybe you're looking at a Jordan Goodwin. Lakers just brought Devontae Graham into the G League team, right? So maybe he's a guy, but he's more of like that vacuum scorer than like the guy you want manning your, like he's the kind of like he's the guy you want as like your Malik Monk, your Lou Williams type, right? Like guy coming off the bench and can just give you 15 to 20 on any given night. He can be inefficient and not the most ideal scorer, but he is a guy that is known as like that vacuum scorer, right? And keep in mind that Malik Monk, even he was looked at kind of in the similar light of Devontae Graham, and then he went to the Lakers and all that changed. Just something to keep in mind. But another option would be like an Alfred Payton, right? Payton had looked fantastic for the New Orleans Pelicans, right? He really stepped in and was playing a role nicely. The only reason New Orleans got rid of him was for salary implications, and they're kind of trying to retool here a little bit. So I do think that is kind of interesting and could be a potential option. A guy that, I mean, he was out there killing it. The problem with him, as well as Markelle Fultz, is they can't really shoot, right? So you have the struggle shooting the basketball, but they are athletic. They can handle the rock. They can make plays. They can do the things that the Lakers need on both sides of the basketball. And it's not like Gabe Vincent is this like lights out great 3-point shooter that's just tearing up the league with his 3-point percentage. Like, no. So, I mean, and again, you're looking at a backup role. So you're just looking for these guys to come in, play, whatever, 15 minutes a game or whatever. You always have LeBron you could default to. If you have Austin Reeves is probably going to continue to be the guy primarily on ball. Probably most likely be your So you're just looking for somebody to come in and, like I mentioned, just be serviceable. Somebody come in and just kind of give you, 15, maybe 20 minutes a night that can run the offense, play some defense, give you that point of attack. Also, Alfred Payton as well as Markelle Fultz both give you some size out on the perimeter and particularly on the defensive side, right? Like Gabe Vincent is 6'3", 200, where like, these guys 6'4", 6'5", got good size, good versatility, good athleticism, especially Markelle Fultz. Again, low risk, high reward type moves. That's probably my guess on how they kind of fill out the roster. Unless they can pull off something, like a Sexton or something like that in a trade. Maybe that could be something that could maybe move the needle for the Lakers. But outside of that, you're looking at just kind of bargain shopping, probably at the backup point guard position, at least until next season. But look, Rob Pelinka, he's got his work cut out for them, right? I do want them to continue to remain patient. I do want them to continue to let things kind of unfold and fall into place. But, hopefully we get something done sooner rather than later. Because, the Lakers just, you can't afford to wait too long. Unless we can kind of figure some stuff out and go on a winning streak or something like that here. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion and a pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree that the Lakers, yes, they need those three things? Wing, guard, center. What is kind of your ideal scenario with that? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.